Welcome to the Crime Decoder, where we unravel the chilling truths behind humanity's darkest crimes. Today, we dive into a case that shook Ottawa, Canada, a city of order and civility in 2009. It's the story of Donna Jones, a vibrant woman whose light was extinguished by the very man who vowed to love her. This is a tale of manipulation, betrayal, and unimaginable cruelty hidden behind the closed doors of a modest suburban home. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Now, let's uncover the tragedy of Donna Jones. In Ottawa, Canada's capital, 2009 was a year of routine for its nearly 120,000 federal employees, a city of precinct suits, government buildings, and a growing awareness of domestic violence. But on December 6th, at 4:47 p.m., a chilling 911 call shattered the illusion of safety in a quiet neighborhood on Barwell Avenue. The caller, Mark Peter Hutt, spoke with an eerie calm. "My wife's not breathing. I just woke up. My wife's dead." His voice lacked the panic you'd expect from a grieving husband, hinting at the horror about to unfold. Police and paramedics raced to the modest two-story home, expecting a medical emergency. Instead, they descended a narrow basement staircase into a scene that would haunt them forever. The air was thick with an acrid, sickly odor, a mix of decomposition and something far more sinister. Bloodstains splattered the walls, smeared across the hallway floor, streaked the stair posts, and clung to a broken door hanging askew. On a makeshift bed of couch cushions lay the body of 33-year-old Donna Jones. Now, Donna Hutt. Her face was so swollen that paramedic Logan Martin couldn't open her eyes to check her pupils. Her t-shirt was fused to her wounds, impossible to lift without tearing her ravaged skin. Forensic officers couldn't even take fingerprints. 40% of her body was covered in third and fourth-degree burns. Most chillingly, 29 airgun pellets were embedded in her flesh, some lodged for months, others freshly fired. Detective Tara Anderson, a seasoned officer with years on Ottawa's force, stood frozen. She later testified, "I've never seen anything like this in my life." The autopsy painted a grim picture. 9 fractured ribs, some calloused from earlier breaks likely caused by kicks, a broken nose healed crooked, 2 black eyes, a left finger bent backward in deliberate torture, wrist fractures, including a nightstick break from defending herself, and lead poisoning from the pellets. Donna hadn't died suddenly. She had endured 11 days of unimaginable agony, alive and suffering while her husband Mark Hutt, the man who swore to love, honor, and cherish her, watched her die. This wasn't a random act or a stranger's crime. It was a calculated, methodical murder orchestrated behind the facade of marriage. To understand the depth of this tragedy, we must first know Donna Jones, born on Christmas Day 1975 in Ottawa. Her family called her their Christmas gift, making her birthday a celebration of love and warmth with extra presents and festive joy. Raised in a traditional household, Donna grew up with values rooted in loyalty and submission to family roles, teachings from her father that women should honor their husbands. These beliefs, while loving in intent, planted seeds of vulnerability that a predator would later exploit. As a child, Donna grappled with self-consciousness. A lazy eye made her shy, especially around boys, and she struggled with her weight, feeling awkward in her own skin. Yet her spirit was unbreakable. Determined to forge her own path, she became the first in her family to attend university, enrolling at Carleton University. She didn't coast. She worked part-time jobs to pay her way, earning every credit through sheer grit. By her mid-20s, Donna had graduated and landed a prestigious role at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, where her intelligence and work ethic shone. Colleagues saw her as a rising star, with supervisors noting her limitless potential. She paid off her student loans in record time, bought a small home, a symbol of her independence, and built a financial foundation that screamed self-sufficiency. But it was Donna's personality that truly set her apart. Friends described her as sunshine, personified, bubbly, outgoing, with a laugh that could light up a room. She was the glue of her social circle, organizing office parties, remembering birthdays, and planning gatherings that brought people together. Her energy was contagious, her kindness a magnet. In a world often cold and disconnected, Donna was a connector, making everyone feel seen and valued. Her financial discipline, born from a modest upbringing, was a point of pride. She budgeted meticulously, saved strategically, and dreamed big career advancements, travel, a future brimming with possibility. At 29, Donna Jones was a beacon of hope, proof that hard work could conquer any obstacle. But beneath her strength lay cracks from childhood insecurities, waiting for a predator to exploit. Enter Mark Peter Hutt, a 32-year-old occasional roofer who drifted into Donna's life in the summer of 2005 through a mutual friend's introduction. On the surface, Mark was unassuming and easy smile, a knack for seeming vulnerable, almost boyish. But beneath the charm lurked a calculating predator. His life was a mess: sporadic work, unpaid bills, and a bankruptcy filing in June 2006, timed suspiciously with his engagement to Donna. Mark wasn't looking for love, he was hunting opportunity. Donna, with her generous heart, financial stability, and ingrained belief in honoring a partner, was the perfect target. The red flags were immediate and glaring. From the start, Mark's devotion was suffocating. Called Donna's workplace at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency up to a dozen times a day, not to chat but to interrogate. Where was she? Who was she with? What was she doing? These weren't acts of affection but chains of control. Handwritten notes later found in their home, hundreds of them, revealed his split personality. One moment calling Donna my angel, the next branding her a terrible wife. His psychological manipulation was relentless. Designed to erode her confidence and bind her to him, Mark's appetite for luxury was insatiable. Trucks, ATVs, snowmobiles, snowboards, gadgets none of which his unstable income could support. Donna's federal salary became his personal ATM. Whispers from Mark's past hinted at a pattern. Former partners had raised concerns about his behavior, complaints that were dismissed or overlooked. He was a master at hiding his darkness, presenting a harmless facade to the world. But to Donna, he was a parasite, draining her spirit and resources. Her friends saw the warning signs: his neediness disguised as love, his control masquerading as care. By 2007, as wedding plans loomed, they acted. Donna's friends, a tight-knit group of educated, caring women, watched her fade. The vibrant social organizer who once planned their gatherings now dodged calls and skipped events. Her focus at work slipped. Her confidence waned. Colleagues overheard Mark's abusive calls, saw her flinch when her phone rang, noticed her anxious glances before answering. In a desperate bid to save her, they staged an intervention in 2007. Sitting her down, they laid bare their fears. Mark was isolating her, controlling her, dimming her light. They begged her not to marry him, pointing to his suffocating grip and the fragility etched across her shrinking frame. Their words fell on trauma-bound ears. Donna, caught in Mark's web, couldn't break free. Her friends faced a gut-wrenching choice: attend the wedding and endorse her doom, or step away. One by one, they withdrew from the bridal party, hoping their absence would scream what words couldn't. It wasn't enough. On September 15, 2007, Donna Ellen Jones became Donna Hutt in a ceremony that sealed her fate. Wedding photos captured a haunting truth. Her smile was bright but brittle, her body already skeletal at 101 pounds, down from 162 in just 2 years. Mark's control was complete. Post-wedding, Donna's life unraveled at breakneck speed. The woman who'd paid off student loans in record time and bought her own home was now drowning in debt. Mark's greed consumed everything. Her salary funded his toys trucks, ATVs, snowmobiles, racking up $50,000 in debt beyond her mortgage. By 2009, Donna, once a paragon of financial independence, filed for bankruptcy and begged her parents for small loans. Her physical decline was stark. Colleagues at the agency noticed bruises she couldn't hide, black eyes under smudged makeup, cuts, and oozing burns on her arms she refused to treat. She brushed them off as accidents. A fall, a clumsy mishap. But the truth was far uglier. The autopsy would later reveal a campaign of torture spanning months. 9 fractured ribs, some healed from older kicks, others fresh. A broken nose, poorly mended. 2 black eyes. A left finger snapped backward, a deliberate act of cruelty. Wrist fractures, including a nightstick break from raising her arms against blows. And those 29 airgun pellets fired at close range, some embedded for months. Others added later, causing lead poisoning that weakened her further. This wasn't a moment of rage. It was systematic sadism, with Donna as Mark's living target. The final act came on November 24, 2009. Mark later admitted to police he retrieved a large pot, filled it with boiling water, and added vinegar, a substance that intensifies burns, making them more painful and harder to heal. Forensic evidence showed he poured it deliberately over Donna's stomach, arms, and sides, areas her clothing could conceal. The burns, third and fourth degree, covered 40% of her body. For 11 excruciating days, she lay in the basement, writhing in septic shock on a pile of cushions. Mark didn't call for help. Instead, his phone records show chilling indifference. Calls to paintball stores in Merivale, to his divorced parents, to an ex-girlfriend in Aulmer, Quebec. He even fired more pellets into her dying body, adding torture to her final hours. Yet bound by an invisible trauma bond, Donna protected him. In her last calls to her mother, she lied, saying everything was fine. She told colleagues Mark was taking care of her, cooking meals, running errands. These lies, spoken through agony, were her final acts of loyalty to her destroyer. She died sometime before December 6th, forensic evidence suggesting at least 12 hours before Mark's 911 call. When paramedics arrived, the scene was grotesque. Logan Martin, a seasoned responder, couldn't open Donna's swollen eyes or lift her shirt without tearing her burned skin. The basement reeked of death and malice, a torture chamber masquerading as a home. Blood painted the walls, floors, and stair posts. A broken door hung as a silent witness. Detective Tara Anderson, hardened by years of crime scenes, was shaken to her core. Forensic Officer Sergeant Stephen Jones cataloged the carnage, noting the smell as unlike anything he'd encountered. Mark's stories collapsed under scrutiny. First, he spun an elaborate lie. Donna had been drunk at a friend's party in Cornwall, falling into a fire pit, and coworkers patted her down. She refused medical help, he claimed. When that crumbled, he pivoted to a new tale. An accidental spill while carrying a pot of boiling water 11 days earlier. He said he'd pawned items to buy bandages, treating her himself because she refused a hospital. Forensic evidence obliterated his claims. The burn patterns showed deliberate, methodical application, not a clumsy splash. Blood evidence throughout the house spoke of months of violence, not a single mishap. A third-party complaint from Donna's friends filed after the scalding had sat uninvestigated, a tragic oversight. Marcutte's trial began in May 2013 at an Ottawa courthouse, packed with Donna's grieving loved ones. The evidence was overwhelming. Forensic photos, the autopsy report, phone records, and those damning notes. Even his defense attorney, Lauren Goldstein, couldn't deny the torture's horror, conceding its brutality in a rare courtroom admission. Mark tried one last manipulation, pleading guilty to criminal negligence causing death to avoid a murder charge. Crown prosecutor Vicky Bayer rejected it, building an airtight case for first-degree murder. The prosecution laid out for years of systematic destruction, Mark's financial exploitation, psychological torment, the escalating physical abuse, the boiling water laced with vinegar, the pellets fired post-scalding, and the 11 days of deliberate neglect, while Donna had a near 100% survival chance with medical care, proved premeditation. Dr. Joel Fish, a burn unit expert, testified that timely treatment would have saved her. The jury deliberated less than a day. On June 7, 2013, they delivered their verdict, guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in applause. Donna's brother, Derek, tears streaming, pumped his fist. An evil man was put to jail for evil crimes done to my sister, and he will pay for the rest of his life. Mark's sentencing was automatic. Life in prison, no parole for 25 years. At the hearing, he offered a hollow apology, begging forgiveness. Donna's former boss, Adrian Diatro, spoke for many. His last words were for us to forgive him. Never. We may come to terms, but there will never be forgiveness from me. Justice was served, but the cost was immeasurable. Donna's death left scars that never healed. Her friend Melanie, who introduced her to Mark, carried crushing guilt. Had I not brought them together, Donna might still be alive. Her family's Christmases, once filled with her laughter, became memorials of loss. Her mother, Irina, spoke of missing Donna's presence, her joy, her warmth. The guilt among survivors was palpable. Friends, colleagues, and family had tried to intervene. But trauma bonds are invisible chains, stronger than any warning. Donna's story is a stark reminder. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate by education, income, or postal code. It thrives in silence, behind closed doors, even in communities where everyone knows the signs. Her colleagues at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, her educated friends, her loving family, they saw the red flags: isolation, control, unexplained injuries. Yet they couldn't break the hold Mark had over her mind. Donna's legacy is a call to action. Donna Ellen Jones was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a friend, a trailblazer who lit up every room. Her story on the Crime Decoder reminds us that monsters can hide behind wedding vows, in quiet neighborhoods, in plain sight. We tell it to honor her life and amplify her voice. If this moved you, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and share your thoughts below. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe, stay aware, and until next time, keep shining a light into the darkness.